Okay, welcome back to the Dublin Academy of Maths. Now, remembering that if you want to get in contact for me, it's dublinacademy@gmail.com. My name is Michael Dalton. Now, we're into series 2 and it's episode 2 and we're still on paper 1, as we will be for another 4 more series, and we're doing functions. Now, functions is on the paper and in at least 3 questions. Full in 1, question 6, and parts 2 and part A. Although in question 2 in 2010 or 2011, the whole question was practically, well, 3 parts were functions. Now, these are the questions here I'm going to look at. I'm going to show you how to do these, so don't freak out. So find the value of k. Okay, if x plus 2 is a factor of this cubic equation, see the k is unknown here. Well, if x plus 2 is a factor, what's the root? Put the root in, make it equal to 0 and solve for k. Okay, and then this continues on and it's practically the same. Now it just says it has a remainder is minus 5. Now, okay, so you have to think about this one. So if we put in the root, the remainder is. Now this has 2 functions, this is 2 unknowns, a and b, and it says express f of 2, that means put 2 in for it, in terms of a and b. So you put 2 in and you see what a plus b is going to equal to. Okay. Now it says if f of 2 is equal to 0, okay, so once you find out what a and b are, and f of minus 1, once you have to find out what a and b is, you express it in that form, but if you put these numbers in for this equation, you will get a plus b is equal to something and a plus b is equal to another thing. With this function also with the root. So you'll have 2 equations. Now I'm going to I will show you how to do this one, so don't get too upset about it, right? But anyway, you will have 2 equations or they will equal and you'll have to solve them. So this is question 2004, 6a, paper 1, that g of x equal to 1 minus k of x. Given that g of minus 3 is equal to 13, that means if you put minus 3 into that, it equals 13. Find k, similar to these. Okay. 2010, question 6a, paper 1, h of x is equal to x squared plus 1. Write down the value of x when h of x is equal to 50. Alright. Okay, so you just make that equal to 50. h of x is h of x. Okay. Note. No fear. Do questions. If you have any problems, ask me. You know where to contact me. Make errors. So you have to accept the fact that you make errors. Alright? So this is the whole thing about this game. Right, now I'm going to go and slide this across. No idea. Now, find the value of k if x plus 2 is a factor of x cubed plus k squared, this is the one we're looking for, minus 2x plus 4. And it gives you that. Now you put it in and you go equal to 0. Now that didn't give me that, okay, but I know it's equal to 0 because it would have told me otherwise. Now if x plus 2 is a factor, what's the root? Should we know this? X is equal to minus 2. So I know that x is equal to minus 2 is a root of this. Okay? That means if I put minus 2 everywhere I see x, I can solve this equation. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So you follow it along and you say, you kind of think ahead and say, right, what am I going to, what's minus 2 to be cubed? I know I've had this before. If you have a problem with it, you know what to do. Minus 2 plus 4 is equal to 0. Minus 2 to be cubed is minus 2 by minus 2 by minus 2. Minus by a minus is a plus. Minus by a plus is a minus. Okay, so minus 8. So you know anyway, any integer with a negative sign on it, with an indice that's uneven, it's going to be a minus. Okay. So plus k squared minus by a minus plus 4 equals to 0. K squared minus 8 plus 4, they cancel. k squared is equal to 0. Now that's going to show you k is equal to what? The square root of 0? The square root of 0 is 0. So k is equal to 0. And that's the answer to that. So you've solved for k. Right, so remember that, given the root, given the factors, or even given the roots, you can solve the equation. Divide them in, or find out what k is. Now here's another one. If x plus 2 is a factor of x cubed plus ax squared minus 4x plus 4. Now it says, the question says, find a. Okay, so that's all I have to do. It's the same as before. X plus 2 is a factor, therefore x is equal to minus 2. Put minus 2 in again. It's just happened to be, it's not the same equation, it's just 4x plus 4. So we're going to get, yeah, it is actually, no. Oh, there's minus 2 there. So minus 8, minus by a minus is a plus 4a. Minus by a minus is a plus 8. Plus 4 equals to 0. Right? So minus 8 plus 8, 4a is equal to, bring the 4 across, minus 4. A is equal to minus 4 over 4, which is equal to minus 1. A is equal to minus 1. And if you put a into the minus 1 in for a, you will find that that will all equal to 0. Alright? Right. Next one. This is quite a bit more. This is 2011. Question 2C. And it's paper 1. And it says, let f of x. Now get used to this terminology, because when you look at this terminology and you're doing the exam, it kind of freaks you out. I remember it freaked me out because I wasn't used to the terminology. I say, what am I to do? But just look at the equation. If this is going to confuse you, just look at the equation and say, what do I do? Do by habit. Write everything down. Okay, that's the best tip. Right, so f of x is x cubed minus 2x squared plus cx plus d. And it says, given that f of 0 is equal to 6 and 2, also given that f of 3 is equal to 0. So now what do I do now? If I put 0 in for here, I'll get an equation, make it equal to 6. Okay, so I'm going to put 0 into this equation, each of them, right? So let's move this slightly over. So right, so I'm putting 0 in for it. So look, 0 cubed minus 2 times 0 plus c times 0 plus d is equal to 6. Okay, I hope you can get that over there. So I'm looking at this, everything times 0 is 0, so d is equal to 6. That's my first solution, right? So I've written everything down, but what I've really done is I've concentrated on this and I've put in my 0, made it equal to 6. Then the next thing I do the same thing again with 3. 3 squared, 3 cubed. Right, we should have put 2 on that, I forgot about that. But anything to the power of 0 to the power of 2 is 0. So minus 2 times 3 squared plus c times 3, d is 6, okay, is equal to 0. We're following this. We've already solved for d. d is equal to 6, okay, and we're now putting in for 3 when f of 3 is equal to 0. So I'm going to bring that equation over here. So we've got, well, we'll just leave it here. 3 cubed is, now I meant to tell you that in your calculator you have a function, and it's a yx function. I don't know whether you can probably focus down, you see this y to the power of x. Well, you put in the number and then you hit yx and then you put in the number you want it for. So 3 to the power yx, 3 equals 27. Okay, now maybe I'll show you another one. Say 7 to the power of 6. Okay, so 7 yx 6 equals. Okay, that's a huge number there. Now, the other way around is the inverse function, which you'll have to press the second function. So if I wanted to get the inverse function of 27, I would press, I want to get the cube root of 27, I would press 3 inverse. There's a sign up there, the inverse brings the function to move on top. 27 equals 3. So I said 3, do it again, 3, that's the cubed root, so I'm doing the cube root of 27. 3, second function, I'm using the yx function, so bring me on top to use this function, and it's 27 equals 3. So that's how you use indices for working with big sums. So back to this equation. So 27, 3 threes are 9, 2 nines are 18, plus 3c plus 6 is equal to 0. Now solving that across, I can see that 27, so it's going to be 27 minus 18, which is 9, plus 6 is plus 3c is equal to 0. So 3c, bring it across, is equal to minus 15, okay? C is equal to minus 15 divided by 3, which is equal to minus 5. Okay. Well, that's good. Now it says hence solve the equation, right? And then moves on and it says hence solve the equation. Solve the equation. Okay, so now I can put my values back in. Okay, so I know that f of x now is equal to x cubed minus 2x squared plus cx. C is minus 5x plus d, which is 6. And then I solve it. Now how do I solve this? Now you know from the last episode I showed you how to solve equations. You're going to have to try f of 1. Will it equal to 0? Okay, will it equal to 0? If I put 1 in there, 1 squared, 1 cubed minus 2 times 1 squared minus 5 times 1 plus 6, it looks like might. So 1 is 1, 1 cubed is 1, minus 2, 1 squared is 1 times minus 2, minus 5 plus 6. So minus 7, like signs add, plus 7, 6 1 is 7. So therefore x is equal to 1 is a root, x minus 1 is a factor. Right, okay. So we go back up the top here and we divide x minus 1 into x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. Now, okay, I'm going to check this again. Always check x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. Now why am I dividing it by x minus 1? It's because I found the root. Once I find the root I can change it back and get the factor. And getting the factor I can find the other factors. Remember, 7 goes into 14. I have to divide in to find how many times. That is a factor of 14. 2 is a factor. Right, here we go again. What do I need to multiply x by to x cubed? X squared times. X squared by minus 1 is minus x squared. Change the signs. Minus, plus, they're mixed. See that? So then maintain it. Plus x squared minus 2x squared is minus x squared. Bring down the minus 5x. Okay, starting again. What do I need to multiply x by to get minus x squared? I need to multiply it by minus x times. Minus x by x is minus x squared. Minus x by minus 1 is plus 1x. Okay, remember that. X by 1 is 1x. Work out the sign later if you're not sure. 1 by x is x. And I change the signs again. This becomes a plus and this becomes a minus. They alternated here. That's because they're lower. Okay. So they cancel. So this is a minus x. So this becomes minus 6x. I now bring down my 6 plus 6. And I start again. What do I need to multiply by x to get minus 6x? I need to multiply by minus 6. So minus 6 by x is minus 6x. Minus 6 by minus 1 is plus 6. Change the signs. Plus, minus. They both cancel. So now, this goes into this many times. Okay? And then, therefore, now I move on, and I have to solve my quadratic equation, because now I know the factors are x minus 1 by x squared minus x minus 6. Okay, they are the factors of this equation here, cubic. So I know I don't need one. So what's the factors of x squared? Are x by x, it's all equal to 0. What's the factors of minus 6 when added will give you the coefficient of the middle term? The coefficient of the middle term here is 1, minus 1. Okay, this is the quadratic here. We don't need to deal with this at the moment. We're looking to get more factors of this, so there's 3 other factors, the same way as 2 has other factors, like 1 by 2. This is all very relative. So, minus, I'm looking at the factors when added will give me minus 1, and the one here is, this one is the worker. Okay, so it doesn't matter where I put it, plus 2. And if I want to check it, I know how to check it. I do these ones, I multiply them, minus 3x. I multiply the outside ones, plus 2x. I add them, and it's minus x, which is the coefficient. Okay, so these are my roots, and therefore, if these are my factors. So my roots now, I have to make miniature equations out of them. X, see what I'm doing, is equal to 0. X plus 2 is equal to 0, and I find that x is equal to 1, x is equal to 3, or x is equal to minus 2. Okay, so there's my values of the roots. These are the solutions of the original equation. Right? That's great. Thank you very much. Good questions.